Yes. Okay. We're 5 minutes late starting.
Okay.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
What's okay?
3 minutes late.
It's 1
It's
minute.
4:32. We're 2 minutes and 5 seconds, according to All right. So, anybody have anything that you want to communicate that's happened so far that might keep you from being here in this class? Just anything that you want to say, and so that you can be present, right? We've been gone for a week. And we missed a class yesterday.
Yeah.
Or the class was at the lecture, if you want to call it that. So does anybody have anything you want to say about anything, what's been going on?
Any broken promises?
Any broken promises? Yeah, see? That's great. Any broken promises? Any, what else could there be?
New promises?
Any new promises? And what else is the other category?
Tales?
Captain promises.
Some gossips.
Promises that
Maybe something
Yes.
never promised.
So you promised your team would win and it didn't. Yeah, so that completes that. Anybody else have any other broken promises? Anything? Any new promises? Right? Anything you said that you would do that you didn't do? Anything you wanted to do that you didn't do?
Oh, a lot.
Huh?
A lot.
A lot
Yeah.
in your life.
Of
Or a
course.
leadership course though? Or both? Huh? Both?
Both.
Both. Okay. Alright. So how about, let's review what we've covered so far. Alright. So this is a new toy here. Oops, how did I get that? Oh, yes, so on the court. Remember on the court? That's when you're doing experiments, you take things out in your life and you run these experiments, you're on the court. It's like you're playing the ball on the court. And on the court, you've been working in the area of the integrity of your word, right? And those are speech acts, of which they're promises, requests, assertions, and declarations. Yeah, we've been working with that. The point is to make your word real in the world. If you keep saying how it's going to go, and if it doesn't go that way, completing it, like we just did with Lyra, Sophia, completing it, which restores your word, you begin to get more and more powerful with your word. And that's the point. So at some point you say, this shall be so, and it's so, because the universe is used to listening now to what you say. You with me? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Just
There. Oops, I got two of them at once. So, remember the work we did with Do Be Have? And we had Alexi's collage up there. And what we saw was, it looked like if you did some stuff, then you could have some stuff, and then you would be successful. Yeah? And what we did, yeah, is we turned it around to you be, then you do, and then you have whatever you have. But you're bringing being into life instead of waiting for the circumstances. You know, if you ever get the circumstances lined up like you want, like you win all the games, that won't be it either. You know, and besides, they only stay that way for a very short time. And then you're on to something else. So it's going to be a constant disappointment, even if you even get the circumstances figured out so that it's like you want them. Like the right car, the right girl, the right, you know, somebody making you food, you know, and let's say you get that. Well, soon she will maybe get pregnant and then she won't be in the kitchen anymore and you'll be in the kitchen making food for both of them. And, right? And the things change. Yeah? So it's going to work to bring being successful and being satisfied and happy into that instead of trying to arrange the circumstances so that they look like you think they should. Yeah? And but they rarely do. So, I mean, you know, you're a winner anyway because you're being satisfied. You can't lose. All right, so then we're doing this part, right, we've been doing since the beginning of the course, is setting aside inherited discourses. That's your judgments and evaluations, right? You were doing that. Opinions, beliefs, points of view, attitudes, all of that falls into the same thing. So you've been working on bracketing that, setting it aside, and then listening for contribution. Or listening for, you know, who they are as a contribution. Just listening for something to show up other than what your judgments and evaluations will give you. Because if you listen through your judgments and evaluations, that is what you'll get, because you'll always be right about that. You'll say, see? And even if the exception happens, that you'll say, oh, it was an exception anyway. So human beings are always right anyway. So there's no possibility listening through our judgments and evaluations and opinions. What that makes available is being out here, and some of you ran that experiment, and you've discovered that. And it gives you access to life and living. All right? So that's where we've been. Ooh, no, we did this too. Ontological constraint. Already, always listening. Remember that?
Yes.
Did you? Alright, so let me do this last line here. Alright, so to being a leader, that's wrong. Being a leader and the exercise of leadership effectively is your natural self-expression. That is a constraint. Our already, always listening is a constraint to being a leader. That listening that's already there, that you know or I know, shapes the future we're living into. And you can't lead when your future is shaped by the listening, which isn't yours anyway. You inherited it. When you were born, you inherited the listening that you have because somebody told you, your parents or somebody, a teacher, or, you know, and then that was the way it is, and you gather evidence for it and exceptions to it, but there's no possibility of leading when there's an already always listening. But to know that it's there, you can take it, it's now no longer a blind spot for you. Yeah? So you were to run this experiment to identify your, right? So this is going to bring us right back into the course where we left off. And this is the next section that we're going to do is what you discovered completing your break assignment. Your break, that was the time that you were on. So what did you discover setting, you know, distinguishing your already always listening? It's looking at me like, you know, the expression deer in the head, the deer gets caught in the headlights.
Yes.
Do you know that? Do you have that expression?
When deer
Yes.
in headlights.
The deer gets caught and you're driving and the deer looks and he sees the headlight and goes, what? You know, the deer is frozen. What he should do is move. Yeah.
It has the same Ukrainian language expression. It has the same expression in Ukrainian language, so it's...
This similar?
Yeah.
What is it?
Як баран на ворота.
What is it?
In Ukraine?
You need to know.
What does it say? What does
It's,
it translate literally as?
On new gates.
What?
it's the same that you said
To
in
look
English.
as a sheep on a new gate.
Oh.
If translate each word.
Yeah.
Alright. So I'll back up just a little bit here so you can remember this. The impact of attempting to lead in a distorted reality of already always listening. The mess you're in, right? The reason, justification, excuses, rationalization, misinterpretation, frustrations, ineffectiveness are inefficiencies that are actually a product of a reality distorted by already always listening. Remember, I know. And so one of you asked, can you have a listening for your parents that's different from your friends? And we discovered that you could. So what about this? What did you see from having done this? Now it's your turn as well. See, this was your assignment. Come back to class, ready to share with us a few of your already always listenings. Okay? Please.
Well, one of my common already always listening is it's not my fault, because when I'm talking with somebody and also it's not my fault, it's somebody do and it's not me. And especially it is in my family because I had a little brother, not actually little because he's a teenager, but always when mom asked who did it and said it's not me.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault, it's not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another is I know, or I'm right, especially when I talk to somebody and we have discussed it before.
Yes.
And then somebody said that I was right, so I'm right. It's just like, yeah.
Sure.
And when somebody is talking a lot, and sometimes, what do you mean? So it's like when somebody tries to express his emotions and it is expressed by high words and it's hardable to understand, so what do you mean? Yeah, and maybe sometimes, but it's less maybe than 30%, tell me what to do. And sometimes I don't know what to do, it's just like, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. It's just like the simple way to...
Yeah, so tell me what to do is already there. When
Yeah.
somebody starts talking and they're unhappy or something, you're tell me what to do. And maybe they don't want you to do anything, they just want you to listen, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not making a request, they're just
Yeah.
talking.
So, and that's all.
Yeah, very good. Well done. Yeah. Anybody else? Rustic.
Yeah. Exactly. I know. It's as for me, it's universal expression of always already listening, because I find it in me too.
Yes.
Yes. And the second is I'm right. What are you talking about? Yes, 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 yes. But you are wrong, and I'm right.
Very good.
My point of view is always right.
Yeah, that's great.
It is the main. What about me? Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good. So what is it going to be like to lead when that is there in front of you? How would that be? How would it go if you're always right? How is it going to go in a leadership situation?
We can miss maybe some useful information when we just put aside, just try to not listen any opinions and think that we are right, and then maybe we can miss some maybe even more useful information.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
and besides we can break our relationships, because when we always do as we want, because we think we are right, it can break our relationship with our partners, with our friends.
Yes, excellent, very good.
And relationship is very important to be equal with a partner, because when you're talking you should just like to have maybe not common ideas, but something that can add each other. But when you thought that you are always right, it's just like you try to imagine that you are upper, that you're
Yes.
opponent,
You're trying
and
to
it's hard
dominate.
to make some relationship.
Very good, excellent, yes. So there's the possibility of mutual empowerment. Yeah? Big words for that. Yeah. Working together towards something. Otherwise, they'll go, oh, I don't want to play with him. Bye. All right. Okay, very good. All right. So, anything else about that? Because we're going to move on. Yeah? You good? Okay. All right, so we covered what you discovered in completing the break assignment. It's the third person perspective contrasted with the first person perspective and the impact of each. You don't know what that is. We're going to cover that. And a review on integrity. And then there's going to be this choice. We're going to do this choice thing, and some of you have already made a choice, but we're going to do this like it's in the course so you can see how it's led. And you can get this distinction called choice. So they do it in the course, and we'll do it as though you haven't made the choice. And it'll be a chance to choose like a leader chooses. It's distinct. Okay. So we did this. How how already always listening limits your effectiveness in being a leader. You just said that, right? Okay, so here's integrity, a review. So, what is integrity for a person? Integrity for a person is a matter of that person's word, nothing more and nothing less. For a person to have integrity, the word of that person must be, as integrity is defined in the dictionary, whole, complete, unbroken, unimpaired, sound, perfect condition. The question is, in the matter of integrity, what constitutes your word? Integrity, your word defined. So this is the definition of your word. 1, what you said you would do. 2, what you know to do. 3, what is expected of you. Unexpressed request of you by all those with whom you wish to have a workable relationship. So what is expected of you? What you say is so. 5, what you say you stand for. 6, moral, ethical, and legal standards. So we're going to get into this more, so it sinks in. So, 1, what you said. Whatever you said you will do, or will not do, and in the case of do, doing it on time. No, requests of you become your word unless you have responded to them in a timely fashion. So do you get that?
What means timely fashion?
What? In timely fashion?
Yeah.
If I ask you to come to class next time on time, let's say you were late. I said, will you come to class next time on time, right? And then you just sit there and you don't say anything. That is, you need to respond to me in a timely fashion. So if you leave and walk out of here and a half a day goes by, you've essentially given your word because you didn't respond in a timely fashion. Now if I asked you and you said, no, I can't make that promise, then you responded in a timely fashion. Clear? Okay, 2, what you know. Whatever you know to do, or know not to do, and if it is due, doing it as you know it is meant to be done, and doing it on time, unless you have explicitly said to the contrary. Explicitly said to the contrary. 3, what is expected? Unexpressed request of you. Whatever you are expected or requested to do are not due by anyone with whom you desire to have a workable relationship, even when not explicitly expressed. And in the case of doing it on time, unless you have explicitly said to the contrary. No, what you expect of others is not for you their word. With others, you must change your unexpressed requests into explicit requests.
What does mean explicit?
Acknowledge.
Yeah, you have to make it clearly known. Yeah, by opening your mouth. Yeah. Okay. 4, what you say is so. Whenever you have given your word to others as to the existence of something or some state of the world, your word includes being willing to be held accountable that the others would find your evidence makes what you have asserted valid for themselves. It's a little tough. Do you get that? No. Okay. So I assert that it's dangerous to cross the street with your eyes closed. Okay?
My friends make it.
Yeah. So you would find, if I'm making that assertion, you would find that that would be the case if you tried to run the experiment or asked other people. Yeah, does that make sense? That you would be willing to be held. I'm willing to be held accountable that others would find my evidence to be valid. What I said, my assertion to be valid. That's number 4, your word defined. 5, standing for something. What you stand for. That is, what you say that your life is about and for what you can unquestionably be counted on. Whether expressed in the form of a declaration, made to one or more people, or even to yourself, as well as what you allow people to believe that you stand for is part of your word. Clear? 6, moral, ethical, and legal standards. The moral, ethical, and legal standards which you have not explicitly declined are part of your word. Integrity is honoring your word, and honoring your word is, 1, keeping your word and on time. Or, whenever you will not be keeping your word, just as soon as you become aware that you will not be keeping your word, including not keeping your word on time, saying to everyone impacted, A, that you will not be keeping your word, and B, that you will keep your word in the future and by when, or that you won't be keeping your word at all, and C, what you will do to deal with the impact on others of the failure to keep your word or keep it on time.
And how many times you can say that I will keep it in future and then again and again?
Yes. If you're going to honor yourself as your word, yes. Remember, honoring your word. Remember that during the course, honoring your words, starting with the conditions for realizing the promise of the course and the course rules of the game. Now, our conditions for realizing the course and the course rules of the game. We have separate rules than they did in this course. You know, our rules is if you come to class, 66% of them at least. If you don't make 66%, you watch all the rest. You do one collage, you answer the 5 questions, you do another collage at the end. That's our conditions for realizing the promise of the course and our rules of the game. Okay? So when you hear them say that, that's what we're referring to. Okay. So remember that during the course, honoring your word, starting with the conditions for realizing the promise of the course and the course rules of the game, when you are not going to keep your word means that as soon as you know you will not or may not be keeping your word, you let us know and clean up any mess left for yourself and others. In fact, to empower and enable yourself as a leader, you will have to be rigorous in honoring your word, with yourself, with those you lead, and with those who lead you. So, this is an opportunity for you to practice being a leader, that is, being a person of integrity. And remember, integrity is one of the 4 factors of the foundation of leadership. So we've been working with this on the court, right? The promising, and so you've actually seen it work on the court, as lived, as experienced, right? And a lot of you have been honoring your word, saying, I can't make the class. Or, you know, I'm not feeling well, so I'm not going to be there. That's honoring your word. There's power there. Okay, so cost-benefit analysis on giving your word. The time to do a cost-benefit analysis, you know what that is, a cost-benefit analysis? Okay. Is when you're considering giving your word. Before giving your word, it is wise to weigh the benefits of giving your word against the cost of keeping that word. When you give your word, you are in effect saying, I will make that happen. This morning, in this case, previous classes, when you're making the choice to continue to be in the course, which will mean you're giving your word to the conditions for realizing the promise of the course and the course rules of the game, you should weigh the benefits you will realize from being in the course against what it will cost you to honor those conditions and rules. Right? So You may have to do without some sleep or something, or get your homework done instead of party so that you can fit it all in, right? There's a benefit of doing this course. You know, one of the benefits is you get to do the course, this $5,000 course for nothing. That's a benefit. You're going to end up being a leader and a lot of other things. Effectively exercising leadership is your natural self-expression. That's a benefit. And it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you getting here and putting your butt in the chair on time, right, and doing the homework. That's the cost. It's going to cost you that, and it may cost you a little sleep or some time with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, right? But there's the benefit that you will get. So now is the time to do the cost-benefit analysis, right? All right, so the cost-benefit analysis on keeping your word and honoring your word. That's distinct to keep and honor. When it comes time to keep your word, there will also be instances when doing a cost-benefit analysis appropriate. However, it is never appropriate to do a cost-benefit analysis on honoring your word. Okay, do you see this? Up here is to keep your word, honor your word. You know, you understand the difference?
Yes.
Okay, good, excellent.
What is the difference?
Huh?
What is the difference between keeping and honoring?
To keep is you say you'll be here on time and you do it. You kept your promise. To honor your word is when you sit down, you say, I did what I said I was going to do. Or as soon as you know that you're not able to do it because something happened out there, and you call and you say, or you tell a classmate, or you communicate, I'm not going to keep my promise. You've honored your word. Okay? So it's never appropriate to do a cost-benefit analysis on honoring your word. Once you've given your word, if you are to be a man or woman of integrity, you have no choice but to honor your word, exactly as we distinguish honoring your word. Also, honoring your word is those other things that we covered. Okay, and you have all in your this is all in your textbook, and it will be there whenever you forget. After you've given your word, doing a cost-benefit analysis on honoring your word demonstrates that you are untrustworthy and guarantees that you will not be a person of integrity. Given that integrity is one of the four factors of the foundation for being a leader and for the effective exercise of leadership, practicing honoring your word is an important opportunity afforded by this course. So you know that no one has this conversation with you on a day-to-day basis, right? And so this just kind of goes undistinguished. All right, integrity and performance. As this new model of integrity points out, integrity is the state or condition of being whole, complete, unbroken, unimpaired, sound, perfect condition. Such a state is the necessary and sufficient condition for workability. And workability is a necessary condition for performance. And workability is a necessary condition for performance. As a result, it becomes clear that integrity determines the opportunity set for performance. We covered that a little bit, remember? Yet, one only need to read the newspaper to be clear about the almost universal lack of integrity. How can this be? So, the answer is, right, you understand that if people honor their word, there's integrity, and the opportunity set for performance is increased. But yet, we don't. I mean, and it's not only just what happens in Ukraine. Did any of you hear what happened to Enron? Huge conglomerate company called Enron, or a huge company. The leadership manipulated the numbers so it looked good, and then it all came out, and the stock went from a very high price to a very low price, and a lot of people lost their retirement, including a lot of people that had their life savings that worked for the company for a long time. So that was an impact of an out integrity condition. So how can this be? The answer is the fact that integrity determines one's opportunity for performance is concealed by what, paraphrasing Rawls, we term the veil of invisibility. There are 9 factors that contribute to this veil of invisibility. You want to know what they are? Okay. That's good, because I'm going to tell you. The veil of invisibility. For example, one of the factors contributing to this veil of invisibility is self-deception. A self-deception that leads almost all of us to believe that we are men or women of integrity. If you take your integrity for granted, even with this and that instance to prove it, you're virtually guaranteed to be out of integrity. There will be opportunities during this course for you to see this factor in yourself, as well as the other 6 factors that make up the veil of invisibility, which you read about in the pre-course reading, but which we will review again later in the course. Mastering the 9 factors contributing to the veil of invisibility will leave you with an authentic opportunity to be a man or woman of integrity. And as we indicated earlier, without integrity, you can forget about being a leader. So here's the part, enter, out, choose. Choosing includes giving your word. We made a bold promise. I made a bold promise for what you will accomplish from your participation in this course. You have my word that we will deliver on those bold promises. But if you were to realize those promises for yourself, you must honor the conditions for realizing what we promised and honor the course rules of the game. But you know what those are, right? We just went over them a second ago. Choosing to be in this course means that you've given your word to your classmates, to me, and most importantly, to yourself. To yourself, yeah. That you will deliver on those conditions and on the course rules of the game, and that you give your word that you will honor that word starting now through the end of the course. Making what you promise belong to you. For us to deliver on what we promise to you from your participation in this course, if you choose to be in this course, you must be crystal clear on and operate from what you are promising, giving your word to. You have likely listened to the conditions for your realizing what we promised and the course rules of the game as something of ours, mine, that we are asking you to give your word to. However, if you make the conditions and the course rules of the game your own, that is, you make them your word rather than someone else's word that you're merely agreeing to, you will find that you have empowered and enabled yourself to honor those words. In fact, to empower and enable yourself as a leader, you will have to make your own all of the things you agree to. So this is an opportunity for you to practice being a leader. Choosing in the way a leader chooses. There may be various reasons for your being in the room today. Some of you put them on a piece of paper and sent them to me. And I told you my reasons, right? But it's now time to put those reasons aside and actually choose. Make being in the course or not your own, rather than your being in the course or not belonging to the circumstances or your reasons. I choose to be in this course, or I choose not to be in the course. In other words, it's ultimately you doing the choosing, not your reasons or the circumstances doing the choosing. Your reasons, no matter how valid, do not commit you. Only you can commit yourself. And you can forget about being effective as a leader until you acquire the ability and power to authentically commit yourself. In order to be committed, you need to know what creates being committed. And that is why we're making clear the source of being committed. What it means to authentically choose. What it means to choose authentically. What it means to choose authentically is different than what it means to rationalize to a conclusion. Webster's dictionary defines choose as to select freely and after consideration. Note that these words are after consideration, not based on or as the result of consideration. Of course, effective leaders do reason their way to what they ultimately choose. However, in the end, the choice is theirs, not their reasons. This is reflected in the dictionary definition, which takes consideration, those are your reasons, into account in choosing. However, the definition does not say that choice is to select based on or as a result of consideration, reasons. To make a choice is to select freely, that is, free of your reasons. Having selected freely constitutes what you selected in a way that your natural self-expression is consistent with it. That's key. Having selected freely constitutes what you selected in a way that your natural self-expression is consistent with it. So your self-expression is consistent with it. So when I do this, he chose not to catch it. So when I do this, his having selected freely constitutes his natural self-expression is consistent with it. So once you choose and commit yourself, not based on the reasons, your actions, your natural self-expression is consistent with it. Get the point? Okay, choosing to be a leader or not. In a very real sense, your choosing to be in this course is you making an authentic choice to be a leader. This distinction, authentic choice, is critical in the matter of leader and leadership. If you're going to be a leader, then each time you are confronted with the opportunity to lead, in order to have the being of a leader in the action of effective leadership, you must actually choose to be a leader. And by choose, we mean it in the exact way that it is discussed in these slides. To choose authentically, you must be as free to say no as you are to say yes. And to give yourself this freedom, you must put your reasons, no matter how valid, aside and simply make your choice between the alternatives of yes or no. Even if the reason is that leadership has been thrust upon you, or you are simply obligated to lead, in order to be effective, you must put that aside and choose to lead. Your choice is an expression of yourself, not your reasons. When being a leader and acting on your choice, if what you choose is an expression of your reasons for choosing rather than an expression of yourself, your word, you will find your commitment to what you choose weak. And without being committed, you will find it very difficult to act on your choice with power and integrity. In addition, leaders whose choices are left wrapped up in their reasons lose the objectivity required to observe with clarity the unfolding of their choices, and the detachment to effectively ongoingly manage their choices. Choosing based on your reasons leaves you needing to be right about the choice, and that leaves you stuck with it. Get your reasons for being here out of the way. Reasons are fine, but now you want to be here because you choose to be here. Leaders are a stand for what they have chosen. To be a leader, you have to own your choices. That is, while leaders may reason their way to what they choose, when they finally do choose, they make themselves the chooser, rather than making the reasons the chooser. So this is another opportunity for you to practice being a leader. It is not easy to be a leader, so get used to it. Being able to choose and stick with your choices is critical to leadership. So start now being tough on yourself, and if you find yourself creating reasons or excuses to say that you did not really give your word, or that it is too hard, or it is not worth it, Those are the marks of non-leaders and people who fail as leaders. You should know that this will be especially challenging during those times when the course gets tough for you. By the way, being a leader starts with being the leader of your own life. You will find opportunities for that between now and the end of the course. In summary, choosing to be in this course means that you choose to enter a partnership with each of your classmates and with me, built on our promises to each other and our promise to support each other in honoring these promises. You can count on me to honor my word, and that you can include yourself in that, right? So you can hear it like you can count on us to honor our word, and if you honor your word to deliver on the conditions for realizing the promise of the course and the course rules of the game, and support your classmates in doing so, and allow your classmates to support you in doing so, you will walk out of the course actually being a leader and with what it takes for the effective exercise of leadership. Tonight, you have a choice to be in this course or not. If you choose not to be in the course, I'm not going to give you your money back because you didn't give it me. So there's no stigma not being, yes, you will give me $5,000. There will be no stigma in not being in the course if you choose that option. So who this course is for, if you are here for something other than being a leader, and unless you're willing to put at risk anything about yourself, including what you know, that is in the way of your being who you need to be a leader and exercise leadership effectively, you should not be in this course. This course is not for someone who's simply curious or here merely to see what is in the course. You should only be in this course as a full participant. And being a full participant is likely to cost you who you wound up being. That is, who you have become comfortable in being. This is the wrong place for anyone who's not authentically committed to dealing with whatever they have to deal with so that they are free to be who they need to be a leader. And you're invited to come and you can sit there and learn English from hearing me speaking and pick up whatever you can pick up. But there's no promise for you to leave being a leader if that's what you choose to do. And it's fine doing that. I've invited a lot of people to come. Alright, so making a choice to be in the course or not. Okay, so shortly we're going to have an opportunity to choose to be in the course or not. If you return after the course, then it means you should. So if you don't come back, or you want to turn in your name tag right now, that's fine. Or you don't come back to the next class. So anyway, if you have any questions, or you could use some coaching in making your choice to be in the course or not, you can talk to me, not Professor Jensen because he's not here, or any of the other. There's nobody else. There's just, if you choose to not be in the course, then you won't be in the course. All right. So here's the part. This is what I've come up with. I don't know if this is right or wrong thing, but see, there's stars here. So if you choose to be in the course, I'm going to take one of these little stars and put it on the corner of your name tag, and then you will have, everyone will know that you're in, just take some and pass it down, that there might be better colors down there, so you can wait until they own that you're in the course. And that's how you know that you're in the course, because you put a little star on your name tag. And the other people don't have stars, they just won't be in the course, but they can come and visit. But there's no problem, huh? Yeah, wherever you like to put it.
Come just once?
Creative thing. Yeah, just one for now. We're going to use the others in our movie party. If you're doubly committed, then you can put two, I guess.
Now we are selecting.
Are you thinking about it? You're not sure?
We want to have three, can we?
if you want to talk to me after and not put it on now and talk to me at the end, you know, you can do that too. But if you're choosing to be in the course, then put a star.
I just
in
wanted
your
to
name.
have more than one.
Yeah, you can have more than one if you really want.
That's awesome.
It's a good thing I didn't put out the medium-sized stars and the big stars. Those will be at the movie.
Golden stars, luxury.
What to do with this?
Huh?
With this, what to do?
What?
What to do with this?
Throw away.
Ну, візьми кольорові розумі.
All right. So look around and see who's in the course with you. These are the people that you can count on and have given their word. All right. Congratulations. Give yourselves a hand. All right. Now, moving on. We're behind. We're behind. But what's slide number? Oh, so we're at 130. How much time? How much time? Are we at?
15.
All right. So
30 minutes.
more than. Okay, more than 30. All right. All right. So you know the conditions. Okay. So here's the break. Break experiments. Let's talk about the break. This would be what you would do